Okay, here we are. The next step after the elimination diet. You should be on the tail end of the elimination diet, so congratulations. You've probably made it through the hardest part of the program, really, is that elimination diet. So the next step people always want to know is the replacement food plan or the uh, reintroduction, or we like to call it the food challenge. So you should have received a couple of documents earlier. One of them is the order of foods to reintroduce. So we want to do this in a systematic way. So follow the order. And you also should have received the symptom tracker chart, which is there to track your symptoms as you reintroduce the foods. So the first thing to do is get that symptom tracker out and just document what food you're adding in. And you want to make sure you're getting enough of a portion size. So you want to do usually double, 2 or 3 sizes over the normal, because you want enough of it in your system to know if you're going to have a reaction or not. And just basically track the symptoms. So you want to add that food for a couple of days, and over the next 2 to 3 days, you just want to track your symptoms and see how your body reacts to that food. And if you don't have any reaction to the food on that 3rd day or 4th day, then it's safe to assume that that food is good for you, and you can keep on eating that and reintroduce the next food on the list and go through that same process. Track that food, write down what you eat, track your symptoms for the next couple of days. 3rd or 4th day, if you still feel good, then that food is good, and then go to the next food, and so on down the list. So it's pretty simple, but you definitely have to do this in a very kind of planned, methodical way. So you can't eat it one day and say it's good and then go to the next food. Because if you have a negative reaction, you don't know what you had a reaction to. So you definitely want to make sure you do it in a nice, slow, controlled fashion. Keep on eating all the food that you've been eating that was on the elimination diet. So all those good, healthy fruits and veggies and oils and whatnot. So definitely keep on eating all that stuff. And then go down the list. If you do have a negative reaction, then put an asterisk by that food and take it off your list and wait until your symptoms go away before you reintroduce the next food. So you don't want to be having symptoms while you reintroduce the next food, because you never quite know if that next food is causing symptoms if you still have something happening. So if you have a reaction, stop the food, put an asterisk by it on your symptom tracker, keep it off your list, and then go to the next food. Once you get through your list of foods that are clear, you can go back to those foods you had a reaction with and do the symptom tracker again to see how you respond to it. So this is a list of the foods and the order to add back in. These are just some basic examples. And this is just a little list of the average portion size, just so you're aware of how much you want to eat. So like we said earlier, just make sure you eat maybe like 2 portion sizes or so you get enough in your system so your system can process it to see if you have a reaction or not. Important thing on the reintroduction, it's important not to add back like a complex food, like a pizza or lasagna with meat and meat sauce and cheese. You're adding back in something with 2 or 3 or even 4 different items that are on your elimination diet. And if you add something like that back in and you have a negative reaction, we have no idea what food gave you the reaction. So you can't add back in a lasagna or a pizza that has It has gluten, it has dairy, it might even have meat and pork on it. You don't know what it was, so you can't add back a complex food like that. You have to keep it pretty simple, like hard-boiled egg, toast, something along those lines. So just make sure that you're not adding in everything all at one time. So keep it pretty simple and straightforward during the reintroduction time. So most people, as they're going through the elimination diets, know what symptoms they had before and how good they're feeling. So when they do reintroduce a food back that they have a bad reaction to, they're going to know it pretty quick. Usually it's within hours, anyways. Um, so, but just be aware of the list of symptoms that you might be getting as you add back foods. If you have some sensitivities or some allergies to them, this is the most common list of reactions you might get. So, on that symptom tracker, write down the food you ate, what it was, track your symptoms over those next couple of days. If you start to have these symptoms, then, like we said, put an asterisk by that food, take it off your list, and go to the next food, and so on down the list. And this is the example of the symptom tracker form that I should have sent you, so you should have that. So make sure you print that out and just follow it along. It's pretty straightforward and it should be pretty simple. But make sure you track it, just don't go by memory. So definitely write it down and track it. And you need to be kind of methodical and systematic in this process because you're in charge of it. So you're in control on that one. So as we said, remove those foods from the diet and go down the list. If you want to try to add that food back a second time and you have a reaction, then maybe lay off that food for 3-6 months or so and then reintroduce it again and just see what happens. You might have to eliminate that food permanently off your diet if it's a significant enough reaction. If it's a mild reaction, then you can just say, well, I'm going to eat this type of food. Maybe I'll just manage the symptoms for a few days, but I won't do it very often. That's another option. And once we get to the elimination, once we get to the replacement reintroduction plan, we should have had a lot of your lab results back. So during this time is when we might be putting you on some supplements, maybe some medical food type supplements. And this is really just to get the healing process, to get your digestive process working a lot better and a lot more efficiently to get you on that right path. So during this time, we might be giving you some supplements along the way. And after you spend a couple of months on the supplements, you can go back and try to reintroduce those foods that you're having reactions with. And we might just find that we healed some aspects of your gut or some of your digestive processes that weren't working very efficiently. And you might be able to reintroduce that food and not have a reaction to it. So just keep in mind that having a bad reaction is not always the end all. As we go through the healing process and we start to get your digestive process working more efficiently, those foods might be okay. So just keep that in mind. So good luck with this, and as always, if you have any questions or any problems, please message me and we'll work with you through this process. Thanks.